Khun Eduan. One of the most badass and interesting characters in Tower of God that we haven't even met yet. We've only met the data version of this character, and from what we know about his data version and from blog posts and hints dropped throughout the chapters of Tower of God, we know quite a bit about this guy, and we're going to talk about everything relating to Khun Eduan in this video. Eduan is ranked number 6. Of all the high rankers, he is number 6, making him the strongest spear bearer in the tower aside from Enryu. And let's be real, Enryu and the other irregulars are kind of cheating, so excluding people who are breaking the rules of the tower, Eduan is the strongest spear bearer in all of the tower, and we see this skill passed on to his children, particularly with Mashani and Ron, and even Khun Eduan to some extent, and it's just super cool that Eduan was basically the original OG spear bearer. This guy was a beast with a spear, and still is. His nickname is the Marlin, or literally translating to the blue swordfish, and this comes from his spear, which is called Mago, and this spear is insane. When compressed, legend says that it could pierce half the tower. What? Now, SIU has stated that he was sort of exaggerating when he said this, or kind of joking, but still, that's kind of like saying, oh yeah, Bomb can kill 1,000 people with his Shinsu Black Hole Sphere. Okay, I'm kidding, 500. Like, obviously, just joking about the fact that he can pierce half the tower lets you know that this thing is insane. He's also known as the Blue Thunderclap, and this obviously comes from the fact that he uses electric Shinsu, which again is super cool. There's not a whole lot of electric Shinsu characters we've seen in Tower of God. Some of the more common ones obviously being Ro and Mashani. A lot of the ones that do use Shinsu, electric Shinsu, come from Eduan, which is pretty interesting. So he's also known as the Blue Thunderclap. It's also really cool relating back to the fact that he's the strongest non-irregular spear bearer, although technically the Great Warriors are irregulars. Don't get after me for that. It's interesting because Sachi Faker, my boy, called him the God of Spears at one point, which is like, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, Eduan was a really powerful, and still is obviously, a really powerful spear bearer. And it's said that when he was paired up with Hendolok Bloodmatter, another one of the 10 family leaders, they were an unstoppable duo, because Hendolok Bloodmatter is the most famous defender in the tower. A defender is a really rare position. The only other defender we've ever seen is Akka Williams, and Hendolok Bloodmatter would basically defend while Eduan just snipes everybody down with electrical spears, which, if you can picture that in your head, that is the most badass thing ever. Just this gigantic, I'm imagining a really massive dude just like blocking all these attacks while Eduan just earns his number 6 spot. It's interesting because we see a correlation to this in season 2 of Tower of God. I mean, this is obviously just how the positions work, but we see Khun Ron sometimes take up the position of spear bearer when working, especially with Nobik. So usually Ron is a fisherman and Nobik is the spear bearer, but Nobik would sort of act like the fisherman or the defender, while Ron just sits back and snipes people with his electrical spear. This is extremely similar to Hendolok Bloodmatter and Eduan, which I find really cool. On that topic, a lot of the Khuns are spear bearers, obviously an exception being people like Hotsling or Khun Eduan, but even with Eduan, we've seen him act like a spear bearer from time to time. At the end of season 2 or near the end of season 2, he is able to summon an ice spear and sort of act like a spear bearer. We've seen him chuck a spear every now and then, and I think that's super cool. You know, they have it in their blood to be really amazing spear bearers. Obviously a famous example being Mashani herself. And even Marco Asensio is a really famous Khun spear bearer, so obviously spear bearing is the number one thing that runs in their blood. Aside from their hair and their eyes, and the electrical Shinsu clip. There's a lot that runs in the Khun family. Speaking of the Khun family children, Khun Eduan is a bit of a womanizer. It is said that he has the most wives out of anybody in the tower, or at least the 10 family heads. But I assume anyone in the tower, like that is, this guy has so many children, apparently numbering in the thousands. Like, geez, Eduan! Although if you think about it, I guess he's been around for like thousands of years. So if he has 1,000 kids, That's still a lot, okay? I don't know what the math is, but that's a lot. Interestingly enough, though, he actually does not take the #1 spot when it comes to number of children in the tower. That spot actually belongs to Hendo Lock Bloodmatter, the defender we mentioned before. I think I'll make a whole video about this guy because he's also really interesting. We obviously don't know as much about Hendo Lock Bloodmatter, but it's interesting that these two, who were a duo, Spearbearer and Defender, both had a lot of kids. I don't know what that says about their friendship. They just like bonded over their love of... So yes, Eduan is known for his lewdness and the fact that he likes women and has a lot of kids and all that stuff. And in fact, they have so many kids that the Khun family put together this competition that they hold once a year. And the children who win in this combat, they start at the age of 10, right? The children who win the competition and defeat the others become true members of the Khun family while the others are abandoned. That's messed up. Although Eduan isn't the one who like put this together and he said that he's like not interested or whatever, it still says a lot about him that he lets it happen. I feel like Eduan is not necessarily a great person. We don't know that for a fact. Obviously the data version of Eduan seems like a pretty chill guy. He seems to have some qualities of his future self from what we know. And he also really likes grapes and grape juice, which is really funny. But the fact that Khun Luck at one point stated during the Hidden Grove stuff that Khun Eduan is like an awful father, and the fact that he just abandons his kids, yeah, that says a lot about who he is, at least in the present. He also likes to collect items, so Khun's bagman Barandina was stolen from his dad's warehouse. Khun just waltzed in and stole his dad's stuff. He also stole the pulley thing, right, that he used during the hide and seek test. So Khun Eduan likes to collect things, and it's really interesting because I wonder if Aguero Anya's like actually snuck in and stole it. He's obviously really smart, but I'm kind of wondering if Eduan like let it happen. I don't know. Obviously we know Khun is a strategist, but at the same time, you'd think he'd have like really high security around that area. I don't know, but that's really interesting that Khun just waltzed in and stole his dad's stuff. Being in the #6 spot means that Khun Eduan is just below REA Han, the leader of the REA family known for their swordsmanship skills, meaning that he's just under there. It actually means that he's the second highest ranked of the 10 great warriors, which is super interesting. And apparently he's like on a friendly relationship with REA Han, but at the same time, still doesn't really love the fact that he is not in the top 5, which I totally get. The last fun fact that I will leave you with regarding Khun Eduan is the fact that Rak's name for Eduan was Electro Turtle. Electro Turtle. How fitting. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like on this video, and even though season 2 of the anime is still a ways off, we don't know when it's going to release, we actually are going to be releasing season 2 of our webcomic dub really soon here, and if we reach our next goal on Patreon, which we're so close to hitting, we're going to be releasing 2 chapters every single week, meaning that the Hell Train, Name Hunt Station, we're gonna catch up to all these arcs super quickly, and with your support, we can make it even faster. So consider checking out our Patreon, link is in the description down below. And with that, I will see you guys in the next Tower of God lore video. Take care.